You cannot demand a pay rise. Everyone goes through phases of adjustment. I assure you, your hard work has not gone unnoticed, and you are a valued team member, and you'll be rewarded at your next cycle. I've already said this will be taken into consideration in October. Being paid £9,000 less than people that you're managing who have just joined the firm, though, is such a kick in the teeth. And I don't care what the guy says. So inappropriate. Dear Tom, you know me. You worked with me for years now. I'm telling you, short and half-considered responses are not going to work here. I was underpaid by at least 25%, and this is the case for nearly a year, and I'm meant to wait another 3 months just to discuss it. The lack of immediate action and substantial rectification plans compels me to escalate this matter further. It's not just about recognition, it's about equitable compensation for work and responsibilities I manage. Olivia, I will follow up with HR to get a more detailed view, but like I said, I do just think this is natural to pay cycles and levelling. Olivia then messages HR in the most boss way ever. Harriet, where is the update on the Peterson project? It was due today. Good morning, Charles. I'm currently on holiday as approved. Before leaving, I handed over all of my ongoing work, including the Peterson project, to Michelle. I also showed you the work before my departure. I checked with Michelle and she's clueless about this. You can't just leave and expect things to be done. I feel like I've read this one before. It is not my job to be on top of your projects. I'm certain I handed over everything to Michelle and explained the details. I've just forwarded you the emails. You are CC'd already. I've shared the necessary documents and emails with her again. Charles then calls Harriet multiple times. If you are serious about your job, you'd find a way to sort this out even when you're on holiday. You should count yourself lucky to have a job like this. And then Charles messages again going, you do not hand over work to me. Harriet doesn't reply. Charles says, do not ignore me. You're really winding me up now, Harriet. I need you to come in. If you don't, it will be considered a refusal to work leading to a disciplinary action. I mean, Charles might be one of the worst we've had so far. Like, he's so aggressive and he's sending so many messages as well. Charles, I apologize for the confusion, but as I mentioned, I'm currently on holiday with my family, focusing on my ill father. I ensured my work was properly handed over to Michelle. Please understand my situation. Charles then calls Harriet multiple times. Harriet then replies saying, I'm documenting this conversation and the missed calls. You realize this morning you've called me 7 times when knowing I'm visiting ill family on an approved holiday. I will be forwarding them to HR. This level of harassment during an approved holiday is unacceptable. Charles replies saying, your holiday is not approved. It's well within my right to refuse your holiday. If you had been organized and done your job, we wouldn't have a problem. But yes, tell HR because I'll tell them how poor you are at performing. I mean, Charles is wrong. When someone's on their holiday, you can't then take their holiday away from them. So sorry, Charles. As everyone always asks on the channel for everything that happened next, I always now follow up with people, and I have Harriet's email to HR titled Formal Complaint. Dear HR team, I'm writing a formal complaint. Short and half-considered responses are not going to work here. I was underpaid by at least 25%, and this is the case for nearly a year, and I'm meant to wait another 3 months just to discuss it. Olivia, I will follow up with HR to get a more detailed view, but like I said, I do just think this is natural to pay cycles and levelling. Olivia then messages HR in the most boss way ever. Dear HR, following an unsatisfactory discussion with my manager concerning significant salary disparities in my team, I'm compelled to escalate this matter. As the team lead, it's incredibly disheartening and demotivating to know that my salary is not reflective of my responsibilities. I'm being paid £9,000 less than Mark and Bo, who have no consulting experience. Our junior consultants, who have 2 years experience total after their recent salary adjustments, are now only £5,000 less than my own salary. I urge HR to look into this matter and provide a resolution that recognises my compensation fairly. My fellow consultants at my grade are all aware of this now. I look forward to your prompt response. P.S. I attached my emails with Tom for further context. Thank you for your email. We understand your concerns and are currently reviewing the information provided. Please rest assured that we are taking this matter seriously. Have you spoken about it in detail with your manager and met with your manager to discuss a plan to work on your career pathway documentation? Dear HR, I literally attached my emails to Tom, my manager, which covers our conversation and the fact that we met. My manager has not met with me for 18 months regarding my career pathway. I've told my manager about the situation and he did meet him in the office and the response was the same, that you cannot negotiate your salary and the banding is the only route forward. I disagree. The next tip would be me quitting and receiving a 30 to 40% pay rise from a competitive firm. Dear Olivia, thank you for your email. We understand your concerns and would like to invite you to a meeting to discuss on the 19th your salary in more detail and also give us an overview of how the salary discussion came about at the pub, as it seemed very late. Quite a few days later, and clearly Olivia had been thinking about it, she sends the most savage email back. Hi. Shocked is an understatement. My manager has been useless in helping me, and HR more interested in working out why people talk about salaries at the pub rather than a valued employee being underpaid. For context, I arrived at 11 p.m. The reason I arrived at 11 p.m. is I was doing all the work for the people who left at 6 p.m. to go to the pub. The same people that are paid more than I am. I decided not to wait 3 weeks to be told the same nonsense. Please find attached my formal resignation. I used all of my holiday to book the next 3.5 weeks off, which Thomas approved. I have written an in-depth handover document for the team. I am back for 2 days afterwards and will hand in all my equipment and work belongings. I'll be happy to help with the handover. I have booked a training day off-site on my penultimate day, however, so will not be available. It doesn't matter, and I wouldn't normally be so brash, but Tom's management of me generally, and through this period and your own responses led me to be transparent with you. To help you pay others what they deserve, but also to show you how undervalued I was, I inquired into equivalent roles at competitive firms and client side. The lowest offer I received was 43% higher than my salary. The 2 highest offers I received would double my salary and formal team lead positions. HR and Tom start grovelling. This is Grace, the head of HR for the UK and Ireland. I'm sorry to read that back and forth. I understand how you feel and I'm focused on ensuring we handle the next part well. We would love to have a conversation with you this afternoon. This afternoon now, about your salary. And I've had it approved that we will be able to bring a levelling to your band, therefore bringing the existing consultants in line with the experienced hires. This was always the intention, but there was a lag in operations. Can you call me? Amazing that they can move so fast when she quits, but not before, isn't it? And then my favourite part, Tom, her original manager, messaged her on WhatsApp now. Hi, Olivia, I've tried to call you a few times now and sent multiple messages. I'm very sorry about the situation and I'm working very hard in the background to get you what you want. Ah, thanks, Tom. Tom, please do not WhatsApp me. I'm on holiday. If you'd cared originally, you would have responded properly, rather than brushing it off and saying in person, it's just the way things have always been done. I decided then and there I was going to quit. I'm not going to reply to the various HR emails and so forth, and I won't reply again to you, so it's worth saying here, why on earth would I consider the chance at my salary being increased to the same level as the experienced hires when I've been offered double my salary and far more responsibility elsewhere? Likely the same question all of my friends are considering now. That is a savage sign off. But I think it's so true, like they've clearly slept on the idea of their existing teams not getting a pay rise and that they deserve those people to leave because they've just been undervalued. This person has just quit and you won't believe what their manager said to them. Dear Alex, I wanted to formally let you know that I'm giving in my notice today and therefore will serve out the remaining month until the 19th of October. I will do everything I can to ensure the handover is as good as possible and I've already begun prepping multiple handover documents. Thank you so much for my time here. I've learned a huge amount and I will remember you all fondly. Sally. Sally, I didn't expect this from you, and if I'm honest, I feel incredibly let down. I have spent the best part of 2 years training you to be able to handle the job just so when you're good enough to work independently, you choose to quit. Absolutely appalling. I wanted to let you know as well that we will need you to work a 3-month notice period, as we have spoken about many times before. I mean, no. Obviously, she doesn't have to work a 3-month notice period. Hi, Alex. It's a shame that you think that way. I think I have worked so hard for you and the company since I started, and I have led on multiple accounts independently almost from month 2. My contract says 1 month, and I have worked out the days with HR, so my leaving day is definitely the 19th of October. I do not remember ever talking about notice periods. Sally, you have clearly forgotten the conversation. I need you to work 3 months, and maybe we can let you go earlier, but we have to find and train a replacement. A. Started signing off as A now. That message is insane because he's now trying to say that he's doing her a good thing by letting her leave early on an already extended notice period. That's mental. Hi, Alex and Clara. Clara, as discussed, my contract says 1 month and we decided on the 19th. Alex is saying, I now have a 3-month notice period to train and onboard people. I have consulted a friend of mine who is a lawyer who has said that it is not legal and told me to respond and CC in HR. Best regards, Sally. That is a savage sign off. So that is actually Sally CCing in the HR of the company and the boss on the back of all those emails sent. That might be my favourite one yet. This employer has just retracted a job offer from an individual who signed a contract and quit their existing job. And this is how they got revenge. Hi, I hope you're well. I need to discuss something important about your job offer we extended to you. Sure, what's up? Excited to get started. Unfortunately, due to unforeseen company restructuring, we have to retract your job offer. I'm confused. I signed a contract and have already handed in my notice. My last day is Friday. Oh my God, it's close. I understand this is unexpected, but these decisions are not out of control. The market is tough right now and we've had to make some last minute changes. But we both have a copy of the contract I signed. I don't want to seek legal aid, but as you're potentially putting me out of a job, that sounds like it is the next step. Or can the decision be reversed? Everything was fine last week. As the role itself has been made redundant, there's nothing taking things to court will do for you, even with the contract. The decision is not being reversed. I'm sorry. It's a company-wide restructuring and we're not taking on any new hires at the moment. We will keep your CV on file for a future opening. What they're trying to do here is quite sneaky. They're actually trying to advise the person there's no legal case when clearly in this situation there is going to be some legal recourse. I've just got off the phone with my friend who's a solicitor and they've said that this isn't true. She suggested I likely have a quite a good case here. I will call the managing director and get back to you. Maybe we can figure something out while restructuring. I'll check back in later today. There is actually no reply here for a couple of weeks and then he goes back to them and says, what was the outcome? Unfortunately, you no longer have a contract with us. We wish you well in your job hunt. I mean, that is savage. They didn't even reply to him. They just completely ignored him. I'm going to screenshot this conversation and post it online. This is the most insane conversation ever. I mean, that's quite the threat. We can offer you a week's pay, so that will give you some additional time for job hunting. The contract alone covers that I'm owed 2 weeks' pay. Yes, sorry, that is correct. You will receive 2 weeks' pay. I'm going to reach out to my lawyer and post this online. Please don't. We are really struggling as a company. I have spoken to management and they can give you the full notice period as pay. I mean, just the threat of the legal and the posting online has obviously like elicited them paying him more than he's actually due, which just feels super fishy. Like, I feel like this company must